Now turning back to the war in Israel, the long-anticipated and expected ground invasion of Gaza has begun. We bring back retired Brigadier General and former U.S. Deputy Military Representative to NATO Blaine Holt. Sir, the ground invasion is not a term that Israel is using. In fact, everyone sort of has dialed it back and calling it an expanded raid. What is this, quote, does it make a difference? And what is an expanded raid versus a ground invasion?
Yeah, they're floating with a bunch of different terms. It's a ground invasion, it's a ground offensive, but it'll use elements of air power as well. They're not going to stop these bombings. We'll see these bombings continue as they move forward. But now we're watching tanks, armored personnel carriers, special operations forces getting in and under and going floor to floor, as we talked about. It's incredibly dangerous operation, and it's underway. There's no reverse gear right now.
You know, no one wants the United States to get involved. I mean, we don't want central. I get that, but I think worst case scenario. And at what point does the United States get involved? What's that worst point? What is that worst case point that we have to be vigilant and we have to be watching for?
Yeah, I think there's two factors to watch here very carefully. Is first, does Israel get overwhelmed in what it's doing right now? They are our ally, and we are there to defend them. So if they get overwhelmed, we could very well find ourselves getting into this. The other one would be another entrant like Iran declaring war on Israel or the United States, lighting up activities or terror events in our own nation or in Europe. And then on the outer ring, we're looking at folks like Kim Jong-un in North Korea saying, here we are, we're at the abyss of World War III, and he's getting active. We've got Chinese ships in the region and more potential Chinese ships on the way. Russia working very closely with Hamas, Russia working very closely. So you could see this thing go regional. You could see it even get bigger than that. So these are the on-ramps, if you will, for U.S. forces to become involved.
You know, the irony was that Iran, what a bunch of cowards in the sense that they're fighting these wars using, using Hamas and Hezbollah. I mean, they don't even have the courage to step up and fight themselves. They spread the money around. They let Hamas walk into. I mean, look, Hamas is going to be finished soon. I mean, it's unbelievable what Iran's doing.
This is what state-sponsored terror is, but then add the other ingredient, which is they've been encouraged by our weakness. They've been encouraged by our appeasement. The amounts of money that they have garnered over the past few years has just been unconscionable.
Yeah, let me ask you about that. I know that everybody talks about it, and I get that, and I know historically, I know it's leaving, what's happened, with Afghanistan and everything. But the thing is that they know that they've got to fight Israel, and no matter what the United States message is, what I don't get is how that would make a difference, because Israel's not going to give up. And,
no, they're not going to give up.
Israel's strong, not going to give up. So they know it's, Hamas had to know that this was a death sentence for them, no matter what the United States does.
Yes, that's true. But let's get to the sum of all fears. The sum of all fears in this case is a very well-resourced Iran for years, plus a very weak United States, and this alliance that Iran now has with Russia and China, plus they were getting close to nuclear weapons. Russia's already said we're going to help them with their missile program now. So where are they on the military continuum? I don't think any of us knows that. I hope that if we know that in an intelligence sense, we are certainly crafting a strategy around what not just the most likely scenario is here, but also the most dangerous.
Well, with 2020 hindsight, too, the 2015 deal gave an awful lot of cash that they could pass around to create all this problem.
Billions.
I mean, whether you're for it or against it back in 2015, the fact is they got an awful lot of money to help finance this.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Yeah. Brigadier General Blaine Holt, thank you, sir.
Have a great night.